Hello, U.S. history students. Mr. Deegan back at it, live from the Deegan household. I have 4 eyes, and you have a learning target. The target is I will understand the age of the common man in America. The 1820s, 1830s, 1840s is this age, and who sparks it? The 7th President of the United States. This man is Andrew Jackson. Let's learn more. There is a rise in political interest during this time, an extension of the franchise, right to vote, westward expansion, and the rise of sectional interests caused increased participation in state and national politics. More people become more interested in politics. There's a change in American politics during this time. The changing character of American politics in the age of the common man was characterized by 4 things. Number 1, emphasis on equality in the political process for adult white males. This guy, women, slaves, still had no political power. 2, the rise of interest group politics and sectional issues. 3, a changing style of campaigning. And 4, increased voter participation. In 1824, about 20% of those who could vote did. By 1860, 80% of those Americans who could vote did vote. Andrew Jackson, 7th president. Andrew Jackson modeled the democratic spirit of the age by challenging the economic elite and rewarding campaign supporters with public office. This idea of giving supporters government jobs was called the spoils system. Here is Andrew Jackson in a political cartoon making fun of him, giving jobs to his friends. Is that fair? That's what he did. He was the first president in the West. He was not a president from Virginia, not a president from Massachusetts. He was a Western president. Other political parties formed during this time. The Federalist Party disappeared. No more party of George Washington, John Adams, and Alexander Hamilton. Instead, new political parties, the Whigs and the Know Nothings, were organized in opposition to the Democratic Party. The Know Nothings, they were nativists, meaning they were born in the United States. They were anti-Catholic and they were anti-immigrant. No immigrants, they said. The Whigs, they did not like Andrew Jackson. They thought Congress should have more power over the president. They believed in modernization and the building of industry. They believed in a centralized economy and no extension of slavery. Sectional tensions. Sectional tensions were caused by competing economic interests. The industrial North in the U.S. favored high protective tariffs to protect northern manufactured goods from foreign competition. Socks. Let's talk about socks. In Britain, you had socks selling for $1.75, but when they're shipped to America, there was a 75-cent tariff added to the price of British socks. So if you're in America and buying British socks, it costs you $2.50 a pair. Meanwhile, American-made socks sell for $2 a pair. If you're in the industrial North, and if you're selling these socks, you're producing these socks, then it's good for you. More people are going to want cheaper socks. But in the agricultural South, they opposed high tariffs that made the price of imports more expensive. The South wasn't making the socks, they were just buying it. So they didn't want high prices for these socks. Sectional tensions out west. Sectional tensions were also caused by westward expansion. As new states entered the Union, compromises were reached that maintained the balance of power in Congress between free and slave states. This was a delicate balance. Would slavery stay in a state, or would slavery go? Sectional tensions out west, the Missouri Compromise of 1820 created an east-west line through the Louisiana Purchase. There is that line, this dotted line. Slavery was prohibited or banned above the line and allowed below it, except that slavery was allowed in Missouri, this yellow territory right here, even though it was north of the line. In the Compromise of 1850, California, here you go, entered as a free state, no slaves, while the new southwestern territories, acquired from Mexico, would decide on their own whether they were going to be a slave state or a free state. And this decision on their own was called popular sovereignty. The people decide. And you can decide on 2 questions that you would like to ask and then write down. And when you're done with those questions, you're done with 4-4. This is Mr. Deegan from the Deegan household with 4 eyes, signing off.